Chapter 2, Surah Baqarah, Part 8. Section 42 of Chapter 2, verse 226 to 237. Divorce, marriage, and muta marriage. There are three types of divorce. Divorce through abstention, regular divorce. Divorce through social involvement, divorce through abstention, and regular divorce are discussed below. The divorce through social involvement is discussed in Section 9 of Chapter 4. In addition, the section discusses the following: infant of divorced woman, marriage of widow, muta marriage. 1. Divorce through abstention, verse 226 to 227. For those who take an oath for abstention from their wives, a waiting for 4 months is ordained. If then they return, Allah is all-forgiving, most merciful. But if their intention is firm for divorce, Allah hears and knows all things. Remarks. According to above verses, if a man takes an oath of abstention and remains separate from his wife for 4 months at a stretch, the divorce gets effective, and wife can marry another man. In this case, 2 actions are needed. Oath of abstention. Abstention from sexual contact for 4 months at a stretch. The declaration of the oath of abstention before wife and genuine witnesses is not made mandatory in above verses. So if a husband is lost for 4 months at a stretch, his wife may consider that he has taken the oath of abstention and can marry another man. But if the husband is away for 4 months or more and keeps contact, the counterpart cannot assume that the husband has taken the oath of abstention, and divorce does not get effective. 2. Regular divorce, verse 228. Divorced women shall wait concerning themselves for 3 monthly periods, nor is it lawful for them to hide what Allah has created in their wombs if they have faith in Allah and the last day. And their husbands have the better right to take them back in that period, if they wish for reconciliation. And women shall have rights similar to the rights against them, according to what is equitable, but men have a degree over them. And Allah is exalted in power wise. Remarks. If a man divorces women by the declaration of the oath of abstention, traditionally by uttering the word talaq, the process of regular divorce starts. They will remain separated from sexual contact for 3 monthly periods to determine whether she is pregnant. She must not hide her pregnancy if she is pregnant. During this period, they can reunite simply by sharing the same bed. Traditionally, the wife remains in the husband's house for 3 monthly periods. After 3 monthly periods, their case is settled by the conciliators. Serial 2b. The husband should either take her back on equitable terms or set her free on equitable terms. Once the divorce is settled by the conciliators, the wife moves out, but she cannot marry another man for a total of 4 months. Woman can divorce in the same process because the verses say, women shall have rights similar to the rights against them. Note, traditionally, a wife stays in her husband's house for 3 monthly periods, but this is not made mandatory in the above verses. She can be elsewhere. The main point is that the wife must not hide her pregnancy. 2.1 Permissible number of divorce, verse 229. A divorce is only permissible twice. After that, the parties should either hold together on equitable terms or separate with kindness. Remarks. A divorce is considered complete after one takes the oath of abstention by uttering talaq and refrains from making sexual contact for 3 consecutive monthly periods. Simply uttering the word talaq 1 or more times does not accomplish anything. The divorcing husband can take her back. He has the right to do this twice. A divorce is only permissible twice. 229. It is not lawful for you to take back any of your gifts, except when both parties fear that they would be unable to keep the limits ordained by Allah. If you do indeed fear that they would be unable to keep the limits ordained by Allah. There is no blame on either of them if she gives something for her freedom. These are the limits ordained by Allah, so do not transgress them. If any do transgress the limits ordained by Allah, such persons wrong. Remarks. A divorce is finalized by the conciliators. The conciliators come up as the verses say, if you, conciliators under the imam of the local mosque, do indeed fear that they, husband and wife, would be unable to keep the limits, there is no blame on either of them if she gives something for her freedom. Their involvement occurs after she has passed 3 monthly periods to confirm whether she is pregnant. The conciliators may include some of the following: the imam of the local mosque, or his representative, judges, representatives from both the husband and wife and their parents. The wife keeps the gifts. If there is a disagreement, the conciliators should decide. The gifts refer to day-to-day items given by the husband, such as ornaments. This does not include the unpaid mahr, dowry, which the husband must pay and should have paid before consummating the marriage. Then the following verses become applicable on them. 2.3 Finalization of divorce verse 230. So if a husband divorces his wife, he cannot after that remarry her until after she has married another husband and he has divorced her. In that case, there is no blame on either of them if they reunite, provided they feel that they can keep the limits ordained by Allah. Such are the limits ordained by Allah, which He makes plain to those who understand. Remarks. A divorce includes taking the oath of abstention by uttering talaq and refraining from making sexual contact for 3 consecutive monthly periods. But settlement by conciliators is necessary for finalization. Normally, the conciliators get involved after the 3rd divorce. But in special cases, if the conciliators finalize the divorce after the 1st divorce, the first oath of abstention followed by the first separation of beds for 3 consecutive monthly periods, the divorce gets finalized, and the husband loses the right to take her back unless she marries another man and gets divorced. 2.4 Concluding regular divorce verse 231 to 232. When you divorce women and they fulfill the term of their 3 monthly periods, either take them back on equitable terms or set them free on equitable terms. But do not take them back to injure them, to take undue advantage. If anyone does that, he wrongs his own soul. Do not treat Allah's verses as a jest, but solemnly rehearse Allah's favors on you, and the fact that He sent down to you the book and wisdom for your instruction. And fear Allah, and know that Allah is well acquainted with all things. When you divorce women, and they fulfill the term of their 4 months, do not prevent them from marrying their husbands, if they mutually agree on equitable terms. This instruction is for all among you who believe in Allah and the Last Day. That is most virtue and purity among you, and Allah knows, and you know not. Remarks. In light of the first paragraph, set them free after 3 monthly periods. In light of the second paragraph, do not prevent them from marrying another man after 4 months. 3. Infant of divorced wife verse 233. The mothers shall give suck to their offspring for 2 whole years, if the father desires to complete the term. But he shall bear the cost of their food and clothing on equitable terms. No soul shall have a burden laid on it greater than it can bear. No mother shall be treated unfairly on account of her child, nor father on account of his child, and on the heir like that. If they both decide on stopping to give suck by mother, by mutual consent, and after due consultation, there is no blame on them. If you decide on a foster mother for your offspring, there is no blame on you, provided you pay what you offered on equitable terms. But fear Allah, and know that Allah sees well what you do. 4. The marriage of widow verse 234. If any of you die and leave widows behind, they shall wait concerning themselves 4 months and 10 days. When they have fulfilled their term, there is no blame on you, if they dispose of themselves in a just and reasonable manner. And Allah is well acquainted with what you do. Remarks: a woman needs a certain amount of time to overcome the sorrow of losing her husband. In the case of divorce, this period is 4 months. However, in the case of death, she needs an additional 10 days. 5. Mutah marriage verse 235. There is no blame on you in what you display of marriage proposal to women, or conceal it in yourself. Allah knows that you will remember them, but not promise them secretly, except that you say a saying honorable, nor resolve on the tie of marriage till the term prescribed is fulfilled. And know that Allah knows what is in your hearts, and take heed of Him, and know that Allah is oft forgiving, most forbearing. Remarks: Mutah marriage is a controversial matter, so I explain the above verses in parts. 1. There is no blame on you if you make an offer of betrothal, or hold it in your hearts. Several people in a society may be interested in a woman allowing mutah marriage, but they should keep their desires to themselves and not discuss them widely or frequently. Only offering betrothal is allowed. 2. But do not make a secret contact with them except in terms honorable, nor resolve on the tie of marriage till the term prescribed is fulfilled. This part of the verse mentions 3 important points to be observed. 2.1. Secret contact forbidden. The parents and imam of the local mosque must know about the betrothal and marriage. Point 2.2. Honorable term. It especially includes the amount of dowry, which should be as substantial as possible. 2.3. Adat. However, if the woman is entering a mutah marriage after a regular marriage or after becoming a widow, the period must be 4 months or 4 months and 10 days, respectively. 5.1 Mar, dowry, in case of mutah marriage verse 235 to 237. There is no blame on you if you divorce women whom you have not touched, nor you specified for them an obligation, Mar, but bestow on them, the wealthy according to his means. A gift of a reasonable amount is due from those who wish to do the right thing. And if you divorce them before you touch them, while already you have specified for them an obligation, Mar, then the half of the Mar, unless they remit it, or is remitted by him in whose hands is the marriage tie, and the remission is the nearest to righteousness. And do not forget liberality between yourselves, for Allah sees well all that you do. Remarks: in a regular marriage, the dowry, Mar, must be given before the groom touches the bride. However, in a mutah marriage, if the groom gives the dowry beforehand, the bride might leave. So in a mutah marriage, the dowry may be given once the marriage ends. The dowry should be given based on the contract of the marriage and the sexual contact. Mutah marriage is further discussed in Section 6 of Chapter 4. Section 43 of Chapter 2, verse 238 to 245. As salat, maintenance of women, and fighting battles guard, strictly as salat, especially the middle salat, and stand before Allah in a devout frame of mind. If you fear an enemy, pray on foot or riding. But when you are in security, celebrate Allah's praises in the manner He has taught you, which you knew not. Those of you who die and leave widows should bequeath for their widows a year's maintenance and residence. But if they leave, there is no blame on you for what they do with themselves, provided it is reasonable, and Allah is exalted in power wise. For divorced women, maintenance on a reasonable scale. These are a duty on the guards. Al-Mudakin. Thus, does Allah make clear His verses to you in order that you may understand. Did you not think of those who went forth from their homes in thousands fearing death? Allah said to them, die, and then He restored them to life. For Allah is full of bounty to mankind, but most of them are ungrateful. Then fight in the cause of Allah, and know that Allah hears and knows all things. Who is he that will loan to Allah beautiful loan, which Allah will double unto his credit and multiply many times? It is Allah that decreases or increases, and to him you shall return. Discussion. The above verses establish a mosque-based supervision and support system for widows and divorced women. As the verses say, these are a duty on the guards, al-muttaqin. That was a time when many men were participating in military expeditions and battles, and many were killed.